recorded live from Random Secret Studios in Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley, and the northern tip of Delaware.
I'm the Capo. He's the Prez.
And this is Sons of Ben, the pod. Adam Devin, welcome to, well, this is the only way I can say it. In honor of our guest, there was two people I could pick for this number. Either Phillies pitcher Chris Short, because he was a Delaware native. But since nobody would know who that is, I'll say maybe it's episode Charlie Manuel, since most people know who Charlie Manuel is. Do you know who he is, Devin?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
good. Just making sure. We sometimes forget. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week, another exciting guest for us, an honor for us, because he is the co-president of the Buccini Polling Group, but more importantly, he's the co-founder and owner of Your Philadelphia Union, Rob Buccini. Rob, thanks for coming on. How's it going in Northern Delaware?
All good today. Thank you so much for having me. I'm real flattered. It's really reflecting back on how I got here with the Philadelphia Union, starting back 12, 13 years ago. It's just it's fun for me to be part of the podcast today, especially given how well we're doing and a great win. A little bit of a nail biter last night, but a great win over New England. Couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, no, we're excited about the win. We're thrilled to have you on. We never even thought anyone from the ownership group would even want to talk to us. So it's pretty exciting.
That how you got me. Everyone else is too smart.
Yeah.
The Richie and Rich, that you're going through all the R's first. Richie, Rich, Rob.
And we just only have like 4 more to go, and then we got the whole card
Exactly.
collection. It'll be great.
Exactly.
Real quick, everybody, remember Beer the Pod, Yards, 2SP in the Larimer, and Rob, you've joined a long list of people we now owe a beer, because before COVID, one of our sponsors would give us beer so we could have it in the studio with our guests, have a couple beers, and have a nice, relaxed conversation. But because of 2020, we can't do that. So you were on the list of someone that we owe a beer to next time we see you, maybe at the stadium or outside.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. We're going to go through a little bit of news real quick, and I guess this might be something that would be interesting to Rob, to the front office, to all the Twitter muscle breaking news people, and maybe even some of the journalists in Philadelphia. I got some news about the Supporters Shield, guys. It ain't over. All right. I'm not going to get into it too much, but being a member of ISC, the Sons of Ben, I was on a call on Sunday with the Shield Foundation, because after we found out about the decision, I had a mild conniption about it, and we started going through the channels of, whoa, what's going on? So all you guys on Twitter that think you know what's going on, you don't. You're reading into stuff, and you're basically bullying 5 poor people that are volunteering their time to try to keep this the integrity of this trophy that's given out by the supporters. I'm going to say those guys, that group made 2 mistakes. One mistake was they thought they communicated everything to the ISC community. They didn't. They realized that. That's why we're going through this all over again. And 2, they allowed MLS PR to craft their statement instead of crafting it themselves. So that statement took a lot of the reasoning out why they thought the integrity of the trophy wasn't going through, because the crazy imbalance of schedule. I don't know if anyone knows this. Colorado is 7 games behind. They're never going to make it up, but what if they won all these games and it's 21 points? That's a huge switch in the balance. So they were trying to find out information, and then in the beginning of the month, they said, we're not getting the information, so we're just going to call it a season and not give out the shield. But we are working on reversing that. So just wanted to let everybody know, maybe don't get your news from Twitter, because you're not getting everything from Twitter. So that's the Shield update, and I think next week I will have final positive news about that. But I did privately text Jim and said, just make sure the guys win it, and if I have to go to LA and steal the shield myself, I will. So that's the news on the Supporters Shield. Beer news, it's coming. Sons of Ben the beer from 2SP Brewing. Label got approved. We can on the 27th. So by next week, we will be talking to you about a couple of launch parties. And we're gonna plan on kidnapping Rob to make him come down to 2SP to check out the beer with us when we do that. Viewing parties always Larimer, Kildare's, Zed's, and South House. And Adam, do you want? Well, I guess I was on the Union Zoom for a little bit. Friday we've got Union Zoom. Rob, I don't know if you've gotten the pleasure of getting harassed by anybody on social media, but since the pandemic started, we've been having Union Zoom happy hours on Friday at 7:30, and this has started in Adam Devon March, April,
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
March.
it was probably
Yeah, might have been April actually.
and we've
well
had
before the season.
anyone on from Alexi Lawless to the Cooligans to Coach Jim Curtin. We've had a couple of the players on. We got to do a drive along with Fafa down in Dallas
Oh,
as
fun.
he was on it. So it's been good.
You're
And Devin,
burying the lead, sir. We drank Patron with Mark McKenzie. Like, was that not the highlight of his entire experience? Come on now.
that was because he must have screamed Patron about 15 times. I thought he was sponsored by them.
Look, man, after that goal against DC, I'm about to scream Patron 20 times in the air. Don't even worry about it. I got
I don't
his
think I've
back.
ever seen a ball move as fast as that goal.
Oh,
Just
The beauty of you can hear in the background him just yelling, "Leave it, leave it." He's just like, "I have it. Don't worry."
it's the only benefit to not having fans in the stands is you can hear what's going on in the field, so you can hear that. And I think Casper is going
that
to
might be the
fall
only
over.
benefit.
It is.
Yeah,
That might be
that-
the only benefit.
No, I'm here now for a world where we mic up all the players. Like, I'm like, look, I understand crowd noise is great, but I want to hear like the profanities of the NBA just 19 times decimaled. I need to hear all of that stuff I heard in the bubble all over again.
Yeah, it was
it's
really
great.
interesting to hear, during the bubble, would there be fan noise piped in? Would there be not fan noise? And then, obviously listening to games that had the fan noise piped in versus not. Who thought it was a more pure game? But yeah, it's I can't think of really anything else though that would be a second reason to not have fans in the stadium, especially when you're having a year like we are this year.
Yeah. Devin, you got any of that Discord action before we get into our discussion?
Well, of course, I got to shout out the people that got the W this week. We had 4 winners this week. We had Evan, we had Aaron, we had Morgan, and we had Justin, all winning this week, predicting the right score. So, shout out to them.
They all guessed 2-1.
2-1 Union.
Man, they're all
Right.
negative, man. I was like 3-0.
Look, it's not that we lose to New England. It's just beating them is not usually the easiest thing. We beat them, but it's just not like clean ones.
Well,
They're tough. They're
It's
tough.
tough to beat someone when you have to play them 16 times in the same season. I mean,
That is true.
that's why a lot of like the World Series usually goes to 7 games because there's a lot of familiarity. The NHL Finals goes deep. Up there you go, rocking
There you
that
go.
Tampa Bay jersey, Adam. I tell you.
AL's finest. I'm a big fan of teams that play in cavernous stadiums and domes that get very little fan support, because then when they get to the top, they all come in running.
You would love the Canadian Football League then.
Look, man, I'm an Argonauts fan already. Don't kid yourself.
All right, let's get to know our guest. Rob, we got to ask you a little bit of background because
Sure.
we scroll the internet and Wikipedia isn't always that exact. And I think the Northern Wilmington News might have done a profile on you. I'm trying to remember where I was digging up info on you, but yeah. So your background, I know, native of Wilmington, went to Cornell, and you started the company. And you guys are I mean, I don't want to brag for you, but you're probably one of the largest, if not the largest, landowner in Wilmington. So just
It's
want to get a little
smaller city. It's certainly a smaller city, and I grew up in Wilmington, born and raised in the city. My office, where I am right now, is right here in the heart of the downtown, blocks away from the breweries that we're talking about, Stitch House, earlier before the podcast started, and super proud of being from Wilmington, and I'm always at the office, at the union office, I'm always bragging about the pipeline from Delaware to the Philadelphia Union, Mackenzie and Fontana. I know, one of the coaches, Steve Cavalier, real well, who now runs the 76ers Fieldhouse, which we own and operate. Steve actually is the general manager and runs all the operation programming, our Sporting Delaware soccer ECNL soccer team down there. So I could not be more proud of our contribution in the history of the Philadelphia Union. We at early stages we had a office in downtown Wilmington, and that's really where we were until we moved into the wharf. So we've got great tie-in, obviously, with the state of Delaware, and to Pennsylvania's finest professional team. And like I said, could not be more proud of all the Delaware connections there.
Now,
Well, as a longtime Blue Rocks fan myself, I appreciate the
There you
swag.
go.
So there you go.
I want to get in your mindset back in the mid 2000s. I mean, you and your brother and your partner are running a successful company, and you said, soccer in Chester. Why? What were you guys?
Yeah,
What was the appeal?
Wasn't I wish I had the foresight to say, wow, soccer's exploding. MLS teams will have regularly 50, 60,000 spectators in them. TV ratings will increase. I didn't. It's a really basic way we got involved in the business. We Our real estate developer, our first project was in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, just up on 322 on Creek Parkway. So our company, true to its Delco roots, literally started maybe, I don't know, a mile and a half away from the stadium as the crow flies. My brother Chris Buccini, who runs our office group and our investment group in our company, he bought a portfolio of 22, 23 office buildings. With that portfolio came our building in Chester, the old power plant. We bought that midway through construction, and we bought all the land around it. And so as we're finishing up construction to move in and occupy 100% of the building, Jay Sugarman, who my wife coincidentally was friends with his wife. I knew of him through, we're all in the real estate business, through the industry. He just has a really wonderful reputation. He is as nice a guy as you would meet. And he approached me with Nick Sakevich and said, hey, we're looking at building MLS stadium. We think that your location, the land that you own here in Chester at the base of the bridge makes sense. There was a discussion, I think, at the time of maybe Rowan University, some other locations in Philadelphia. Having met Dave Poland playing football when we were 18 years old as freshmen on the Cornell football team, I knew very little about soccer. So I literally may not have known if there's 10 or 11 players. Like that's how embarrassing my knowledge is. I have grown to love the sport. My oldest son I probably spent 20 hours a weekend driving him to the various tournaments, and tonight I'll pick him up from practice at 9:30 at night. So my life has become so heavily involved with soccer that it's just remarkable to think in really only a decade how much that's changed. And it really, for me, has been fascinating to see the quality of the league. The first year when I went to my first MLS game versus today, it's just the growth and talent, the growth, the quality of play is just nothing short of extraordinary.
Now, we often talk on this pod how we think MLS has had a 1.0, a 2.0, and a 3.0, and we're in that 3.0, and we can't believe the difference from, because I've said in the past, I've admitted it many a times, that before the team was announced, I was anti MLS. I was a Euro snob, like all these other people. I go,
Yeah.
MLS, and then I'm like, MLS sucks. I don't want to watch that. Then of course we got season tickets and joined the Sons of Ben, and just watched how this league has blossomed, and even now with, we'll get into news later about how now we are developing players and sending them to Europe. So yeah, it's been incredible. early days
Yeah,
of the union.
I was never sophisticated enough to be a snob, with the Premier League. So when we started MLS and people were like, "Oh, you're not, one of the top teams in the world," I'm like, "That's bullshit." Like, of course we are. That's how I approach every time I pull up to Subaru Park. I think
That's
we
the
are elite,
mentality.
and I think over time that obviously starting to show on the field for sure.
Yeah.
I think MLS thrived on a large chunk of America being like, I've never watched a soccer game before, but this could be a thing I could get into because it's just like if Matt has a lot of that. Like I was just excited for a team to just root for Philadelphia, just be like, hey MLS, it was 16 years. You want to give us a team? Your fourth largest media market? No, all right, cool. Put another one in Columbus. That makes sense.
Right.
No, but you're just like. At one point, I'm just like, please just give me a team so I can root for it. As a soccer player myself, I just wanted to root for a soccer team. But at the same time, a lot of people I met who became diehard Union fans were just like, yeah, I didn't follow European soccer, any other soccer beforehand. I just was like, yeah, that's a thing to add to our collection of sports watching. And I was like, yeah, it really is. And it's turned out to be great.
Whenever I go into my closet and I look at my stack of Union scarves, I really chuckle because I had no idea the importance of a scarf as it related to soccer. And then I don't know if any of you were there when we had the announcement at Turbine Hall of the team. The amount of intensity that the fans displayed. I'm like, how do we have fans and we don't have a team yet? And you may have read. I think there was an initially discussion that someone saw Philadelphia Union jersey, and on the back it was 2010
Oh
was
yeah.
the number for the year. So everyone thought the team name was the Zolos, and like I'm like, why did I get it? And then someone had dumb it down and explain that to me. So it's really been fascinating for me that we really because of Jay got involved in the team, Jay Sugarman, that it's been really just an incredible ride and something that I'm incredibly proud to be a small part of.
Yeah, and I think everyone's pretty aware, especially if they saw in the past the Sons of Ben documentary. But like the challenges you guys as ownership had in 2008 and bringing the stadium even here, because we get the announcement and then basically I'd say the bottom dropped out of every financial
Yeah.
market in the world.
Yes.
And so I think we're all pretty aware of like how you guys had to move mountains to get, well, what was that, PPL Park, then Talent Energy, now Subaru, yeah, finally built and opened in time for the 2010 season. But I guess what I want to get is, what's your perspective on back then looking at 2008 and now looking at 2020 with COVID? What's the
Yeah.
similarities and the differences between running your businesses as well as the Philadelphia Union, because we've got opinions on how it's been as a fan in both
Sure.
2010 and 2020.
Well, I think in 2010, the in the real estate business, you have to be a grinder, right? So we were building this stadium, this team, just purely speculative. So we had no idea, or I think we had an educated idea on how we would draw, what this fan support would be. But we had a piece of paper that had the outline of a stadium, and we said, can you build it for 100 and whatever $1 million it is? It literally was a piece of paper, two pieces of paper that we gave our head of construction, John Groff, to say, hey, does this for 100 plus million, could you build this? And I think the consensus was, well, that's a lot of money. And back then, if you think about that escalated to today's dollars, we should be able to build something beautiful, which we did. But in 2010, 2008, really when we were going through the fiscal crisis, the global recession, for us then the difference was, could you actually build something, finance it completely on spec? No proven track record, no sponsors, and a world that had seized up from a credit markets perspective. At one point, the county, we went to a meeting at Delaware County, and they were concerned about their fiscal solvency, their ability to issue bonds, to collect money, who was going to be able to pay, the taxes. So it was a terrifying time. And the thing about our business, the real estate business, which is similar, when we were starting the team, is just a massive outlay of capital. So, every week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it wasn't a check going out for $1,000, $2,000. It was huge checks going out for, whatever it could be, legal fees, architectural fees, to design a building. It's like this, it's millions upon millions of dollars. And you have to design the building first before you can actually even get pricing that you could actually figure out how much it's going to cost and then figure out your capital structure in it. So that was, to me, far more terrifying than it is today. Back then, we had this leap of faith. And today we have a team that is exceptional. We've got players that are exceptional. We've got sponsorships that could not be more supportive in what we do. We've got a coaching staff, the front office. I'm going to leave out tons of people, ownership group that are really couldn't be more proud. And we know that we will be successful, as a team in terms of, the stadium being filled again. It's just a matter of time. Whereas before, we were in 2008 really, trading on what our, gut was.
Well, speaking of someone that's a native of South Jersey and a resident of Philadelphia, I'm glad it wasn't built at Rowan. I mean, people complain about being right off an I-95 in Chester. You don't know how to get to Rowan. There's no way that would have been the worst choice I could ever imagine. So we're glad you built that now.
They should have put it in King of Prussia, but that's just another conversation.
You got an
for another
academy
day.
there. Come on.
Look,
Isn't that
all
enough
I'm
for
saying
you?
is KOPFC makes so much sense. It got 5 highways near it. We got all that empty land. We just built a town center off of a golf course.
We wouldn't have the spectacular view. We wouldn't be part of the city of Chester.
I mean, that's also
true.
So
it would not be the same.
So
Adam, where are you from? Where are you from again?
We wouldn't have the same grit.
Look, man, I'm from
that
Wayne.
we do today.
Oh.
Look, as a Wayne, PA resident, I understand.
That's twice,
I'm happy
Devin, you
for
have to
the
drink.
academy.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Every time Adam plugs his hometown of Wayne, PA, we all drink.
Look, I'm very happy the union put our academy in the greatest hometown in America. It's a really nice idea, and I'm very thankful for it. There's nothing I can do about it.
We aim to please everyone.
I'm here for that. I appreciate that.
So, looking at the ownership group, we got a lot of, let's just say, real estate guys on this ownership group. And we're kind of in the midst of a urban renewal for Chester. I've seen some of the plans. I've actually went to one of the presentations at Chester City Hall. Can you shed any light on the project, what's going on? And B, personally, do you see any similarities of 2020 Chester and, let's say, late 90s Wilmington, early 2000 Wilmington, Delaware?
Yeah, there's lots of similarities, and it's the foundation for what you need to be successful with a large development plan that we rolled out recently that you read in the Delco Times or the Inquirer, Philadelphia Business Journal. And the number one most important thing is a large cooperative business community, which we have. So you'll see that you had all the stakeholders, all the community membership involved in what we think will be a great plan. You have a very cooperative city government, and they're the key metrics that you need, to start any project. So that's the similarity that we have with Chester and in Wilmington. We had all those, back when we started Wilmington 15 years ago. Wilmington has 7 or 8 Fortune 500 companies based here. So that helps when you're starting to build apartments or breweries or whatnot. We don't have a professional sports team like the Philadelphia Union. We do have the Blue Rocks. But yeah, there are a lot of similarities. And I leave my office here. I think I can be door to door to the stadium, during the middle of the day, no traffic. I think I'm 15 minutes door to door. And like Wilmington, where we have a riverfront that's really critical to the success of so many master plan projects. We have a spectacular river, the Delaware River, just up the way. So there's a lot of similarities. I think we've done some really impressive things with the office building that we have here, the practice facility, which is spectacular, and the in the stadium. And we've got great companies that have moved. Power Home, which is just led by some of the finest guys that are around. And I do think that we now have the wind at our back, and I think what we are putting on paper will occur.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of it, like I said, and excited. And this is something that not just as Union fans, but people that now are spending a good amount of time in Chester are looking forward to seeing the revitalization and even with the plan, like just some of the things that the architectural firm brought in, like allowing residents to get across 291 safely to
Yeah.
enjoy the waterfront. I was very happy to hear because you always hear development and you get weird like, all right, is this just gonna basically build a wall between the residents that have been
Yeah.
here and bringing new people in and the bad or the good G word that people hear all the time, the gentrification. So I was really happy to see a lot of the plans and kind of build that whole community. And somebody that's spent, I don't know, I've been spending a good chunk of time in that area for about 11 years now. And I know these two guys have spent a lot of time down there. So I think we're all excited to see what happens and what really gets developed and see how you can help that community.
Yeah, and I agree. It has to be walkable. That's the key for any successful, large scale development. It has to have access to the entire community. You don't want to build a gated community. Certainly would not really be possible with Subaru Park. But yeah, I think that if you look at any successful urban project, it is part of the community. All the access is is constructed early on, and we did that in Wilmington, where the access points were constructed. The Riverwalk was constructed first, and then was filled in, with buildings.
Now, speaking of the ownership group, we said a lot of guys are, in real estate. There is one member of the ownership group that really isn't involved in real estate unless you consider the fact that he owns the lane as his business would be. Adam, you like that one. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. So recently you guys signed on Kevin Durant as an owner. Come on, Adam, you like that transition.
Look, that was all right. The sad thing is that was one of your better transitions. That's literally the terrible thing about that. That was one of the best transitions you may have ever had. At the same time, oh my god.
So I heard a rumor that the ownership group before the Kevin Durant, you guys were all out to dinner with the LAFC ownership group before the LA game. And I guess and maybe I'm making this up, but Will Farrell was just a jackass, and you figured you needed to get another owner that could dunk on him. Is that how KD got brought upon us? Or
No. Richard, and I don't know if he touched on that on the podcast when he was on earlier, had a connection with Kevin's business manager,
right?
and that's how it came through. And it's been a great partnership early on. Impressive that someone like Kevin that has access to so many deals. I mean, his deal flow, with someone of his net worth is extraordinary. That he chose to invest in the Philadelphia Union. We obviously think that will magnify, or I'm sorry, that will expand greatly. The fan base of of the team. As I mentioned to you all earlier before this podcast started, Kevin Durant was on a Zoom, and have 4 children, and I thought it was so cool that I was on a Zoom with Kevin Durant. I think there were maybe 8 people, 10 people on the Zoom call, and I was strategically placed my iPhone to take a picture of my computer screen so I could come home and show my wife and children how cool my day was that I had a Zoom meeting with him. He's a wonderful person. He's been great. He's been engaged with the players, and I think obviously COVID has muted the effects of what he and his brand can do. But I think you'll really start to see that amplified next year as we emerge from this pandemic.
So I have 2 questions from this. One, how is it as an owner and like as a person who's been successful in their own realm to be like geeking out to see Kevin Durant? Because like that has to be kind of cool. Where you're just like, look, man, I'm a titan in my own industry. Like I've moved some boulders. Oh my God, that's Kevin Durant.
Well, I tell you, our business, which many of the owners of the team, the co-owners of the team, are in real estate. It is every 10 years a very humbling business. So it's a business where we're not making widgets for sure. And so I think when Kevin came, at the right as the onset of the pandemic, it was really just such a shining light and a great, as I reflect back at the end of this year, when I reflect back on the year, it will certainly be one of the great highlights that we had. But yeah, he's he's pretty chill. I have to say, again, I don't know him well, and he knows my name, but he's just, like I said, been a great partner. The group of owners, as you probably all have discerned, are really first class, nice people, and actually, when sometimes we don't play as gritty as I think, I'm like, oh, maybe we're just all too nice of a group, and maybe we need to be a little bit more gritty as an ownership group. But Kevin would fit into the overall just nice factor of the ownership group.
My second question, a little less harsh. Can we still bring Sixers to the games?
I certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Because
I'm friends with the CEO and the president of the Sixers and all the operating people there, and they were joking that when Kevin, one of my buddies in the Sixers, said that when Kevin signed up to be a partner, were we going to change the name of the 76ers field house in Wilmington, the Brooklyn Nets field house? So, no, that is not the case. I think that would be, a little out of place, but there certainly will be Sixers at the game.
I just have this image of Kevin Durant in the middle of Wilmington, just mean mugging the facility, just looking at it, just being like, all right, I guess we can let this stand for now.
Exactly. It will maybe after a Nets Sixers game, they'll all come together.
Nice. I like that.
There's one thing I love about the Kevin Durant bringing him in is a lot of people say, oh, he's a DC guy. He's a Prince George's guy. And if anybody knows anything about Prince George's County in Maryland, that you could easily describe that as the Chester of DC, So I think him coming in to this group, into this city, into this stage of the development, I think it probably really hits home to him being from that area. I don't know if anyone's traveled through Prince George's County, but you would see a lot of similarities. So I think that's, again, was another home run this year. I said the Union business had 2 home runs. It was the renaming of Subaru, because those guys are fantastic corporate
they've been
citizens.
unbelievable. We were up at the community garden last week, and just their enthusiasm for the team, their financial commitment, their marketing prowess, really, like you said, unbelievable that Subaru is our partner. We're going to be more happy. And I agree. We have an office in DC where Dave Poland's based, and so we're very familiar with Prince George's County. And there are definitely parts of Prince George's County that are certainly more like Chester than they are like Adam out in Maine.
Hey, we're all Delco. We're all Delco in this together. No,
you guys try to secede out of Delco a long time ago, Adam.
No, man. Look, Montgomery County wouldn't take us. That's all I'm saying. But PG County, love it. I do love me some Prince George County. Got some family down there, so I like the sound of that.
All right, we've got a couple quick questions for you. Just top of head. Since you've been an owner of the Philadelphia Union, have any of the players ever big timed you? Like taking your parking spot, walked past you, didn't know who you were, just.
And why was it Maurice Adu?
You know what name I had in mind.
Yeah, I know. It was Maurice Adu. You know it was.
The most stunned I've been was the first year of the team. I'm like, oh wow, I'm going to hang out. We're going to be friends. This is 10 years ago, and I realized, I'm like, wow, these are all young enough to be my children. That was a really harsh reality. And they're all calling me Mr. Buccini. I'm like, who's Mr. Buccini? That's my dad.
It's like, sir.
So no, I tell you, they too are all really gentlemen. Some great cars though that the players own,
Oh yeah,
which is always fun to watch. My 14-year-old son will point out who all the fancy cars are, which that's part of being a professional athlete.
definitely. All right, off the top of your head, favorite former player not named Latu?
Favorable. Oh God, I mean, how do you not go with the two? He's our guy, and my wife speaks French. He speaks French. We have a little bit of a bond, and it's great to see him around the stadium.
The correct answer was Roger Torres, but that's okay. All right, favorite
Always
current
Connor
player.
Casey.
Yeah, yeah, true. Connor Casey.
Always
favorite
Connor Casey.
current player not named Aronson.
Well, like I said, I have to be supporting of my hometown and my home state of Delaware. So obviously Mackenzie and Fontana.
So when are they getting
and the rest of the team?
Of course.
But, and the rest.
So when are they getting their billboard outside of Wilmington? I just want like Fontana and I just want.
I haven't thought about that. We need to do that.
It's
like a big Michael. Where I am here, we have a 22-story building. We should just do like a Michael Jordan type.
Yeah.
Of either the goals that they scored in the last one of the couple goals, them in action.
I saw this in the projection in Miami. They just had like one of these buildings where they had a projection of a backflip. Like, look, just get Fontana's chips just on repeat.
I'm going to send Tim McDermott an email saying we need like $30,000 to do that before the Toronto game.
Well, not to go serious for half a second, but that is in a lot of ways as much Wilmington's team as anybody else.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Like
they're our proximity. If you look at our ticket sales, we draw so heavily from Delaware. Obviously we're all the way out, past Lancaster, but being only 5-10 miles to the state line, we do use. When I go to the games, I see so many of my Delaware, friends, people I recognize that are from Delaware. So it's a huge draw. And as you know, they practiced here during COVID at Kirkwood Soccer down at the field house. So we have a huge amount of hometown pride here. The governor was so accommodating to allow them to practice here. And I really think one of the reasons that we had such a great start or having a great season is that we provided a very safe home for them here in Wilmington at the beginning of the season, where so many of the teams were trying to figure out, okay, what's their COVID protocol? How are we going to do this? We had everything up and running, the daily COVID tests, the indoor, outdoor fields. It was really, I think, added a stress-free component. And, selfishly, being able to, drive a mile away to where they were practicing was super fun for me.
We need more Delaware-based chants in the River End. We don't give them enough love, man. We don't give them enough love.
Yeah, I don't know if the Starboard Bar in Dewey will let us do a chant, but we'll figure that out.
That's a reference.
You gotta get that done.
That's a reference, my guy.
You guys show up. The Sons of Ben show up in mass. That'll happen.
Look,
sure.
We'll be in the middle of DuPont Circle. We'll be fine. We'll just be all down, just waving flags.
So, as an owner, what was your thought on that Aronson sale? Because that might have been the third best piece of business that the team has done financially in 2020.
Yeah. It says it's a huge statement for the academy. We have a massive investment every year in the academy. It's great for Philadelphia soccer. It's great for American soccer. It's great for the Philadelphia Union that we have a record transfer fee like that. So I'm incredibly proud. We have so many other great players on the team that I think this starts in motion. Not only what we've produced and really has solidified all the efforts that Richie Graham has made. I mean, when I first met Richie, probably it might have been 8 years ago, and he was telling me and his passion about the importance of the academy, I didn't really fully appreciate. And then like you said, you fast forward today, you really understand what he was getting at. And again, kudos to him for having the commitment to do that, and kudos to the Philadelphia Union for making those investments year in, year out.
Yeah, and I mean, as a season ticket holder from day one, I'm always happy to admit when I was wrong. But for the longest time, when you'd hear anybody talking about the academy, I was Jack and the Beanstalk and like, great, some more magic beans, sure.
Yeah.
Can we get like one guy from Europe at least? And but no, to see it happening and watching Brendan
And for
develop.
someone like myself who didn't grow up playing soccer, American football is what I played for 4 years in college, and my thought was very similar. Like, well, if we took this investment that we're making every year in the academy, just think of the unbelievable talent that you could purchase, in onshore here. And I think we've done a nice mixture of bringing in, foreign talent, but also unbelievable job of picking, players. All the people at the academy have done just an amazing job, and you've got Chris Albright and Jim Curtin, really developing in them, along with Phil, our goalie coach. It's really remarkable what they've done.
Well, we're all eagerly excited to see what Ernst Tanner can do with $6 million. So we're considering we've seen what he did the last year with
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ernst is he is a brilliant person. It's unbelievable what he's been able to accomplish in a short period of time. The people that he's brought in, and he's a confident guy, and that's, I think, what has been so comforting to me is that he really has such conviction in his decisions, and clearly he knows what he's doing based on the results.
And so focused. I mean, I've gotten to talk to Ernst a number of times, and you'll sit there and talk to him. Hey, how you doing? How's the weather? And then it goes right into soccer, and it goes into youth development, or it goes into somebody he saw in South America, and it's amazing because you see that focus and the passion. So yeah, we always say it. God bless Ernst Tanner. Always.
For sure.
To have a confident GM in Philadelphia, it's just a weird concept right now. I don't even know how to handle it.
That's why we have the best record in Philadelphia sports.
It's not a shocker that you have confidence up top. It actually trickles down a little bit.
And here's the funny thing.
And I, like I said, we've got great teams in Philadelphia, but it really is amazing what he's done.
And the last thing I'll say about Ernst that is a Sons of Ben member and a Union fan, you won't get in any of the other 4 sports. Ernst actually's come down to our tailgates and done toasts.
Wow.
He did one in the beginning of the year, and he did one before the Red Bull playoff game. Yeah. You're not seeing Howie Roseman come down to a bunch of guys from the 700 level to give a toast and talk about the refs and Red Bull and everything else. You're not getting Elton Brand's not getting out of his ivory tower.
Elton's a friend. I think you get Elton.
I can't wait to get Elton down to the river end.
We have to get Elton. Yeah, we'll have to get Elton down with KD.
Yeah,
they can.
Yes,
they can compare career earnings.
That wouldn't be a rumor mill if there ever was one.
Yeah.
That is literally Webster's definition of tampering.
That might be called. Yeah, that could be called tampering, but I'm for it. It's not us getting fined.
Right.
I think Josh can handle the fine.
I like the joke with Elton. When I first met him, he was the GM of the 87ers, now the Blue Coats, and so I always joke, that when we made him here in Wilmington, now he's the GM of the Sixers. It had nothing to do that he was a first-round draft choice overall from Duke.
Yeah. Duke educated man.
Brilliant guy, great family. Nothing to do with all that.
All-star, never. None of these things matter.
Yeah, it just happened to be that he came across the Buccini Poland Group. And,
he made his bones in Wilmington, Yeah.
We made his bones. We saved his career.
What is the slogan of Wilmington? A place to be somebody.
That is right. It's a place to be somebody.
A place to be somebody.
Exactly.
Adam for the win on the Google research. Good job, Adam.
Man, I used to go to Wilmington every weekend of my childhood. I got family near the port of Wilmington, so I'm down with the first state, Also, I spent way too much time going to Total Wine over the border, so
I've gone off that exit a few times. Just saying. Yeah.
Tax.
But you haven't brought it back into PA though.
Absolutely not. I
No, that would
drank it
be-
right at the
You
border.
brought it to your
I
grandmother's
went to the
house.
Tri-State Mall and I drank it right there.
Yeah, that would be tax evasion. We don't want to get involved with that. You know? Every state gets its money. You know?
Look, we all got a Wesley snipe eventually. Sometimes it happens.
Before we get into some Union MLS news to get your opinion, any tidbits, anything you could tell us? What's in store for the Union, Union 2, maybe an NWSL team? Adam, you want to pitch your NWSL team?
I can be GM. You don't even have to worry about it. Just give me a couple of uniforms and just enough money to get Kristen Press from Manchester United, and then we're good. You do that, juggernauts.
That sounds like a deal.
Look,
that sounds like
Carly
a deal.
Lloyd is going to come back and be player manager because she's obviously wants to finish her career where it started, generally near South Jersey. And look, magic will happen, man. As a former fan of both the Charge and the Independents, I need my lady soccer.
All right, that makes sense. I don't want to pine on Union 2 or any of that because I think the podcast has gone well. I haven't done anything to offend anyone. I'll be allowed to the game. I'll be allowed to the game at on a Saturday night. David Busher won't revoke my ticket. So
Richie was not this
probably
smart.
just gonna skip past all this and let the people at the Philadelphia Union that know what they're talking about answer those questions.
That is fair enough. All right, so a little Union, Sons of Ben, just Union and MLS news. First, we were remiss. I think we missed it last week, Devin. Happy belated birthday to one Mr. Anthony Fontana. Yeah, so he's 21 now, kids. So
no!
They grow up so fast.
Speaking of total
wine, he was camping out there the night before. He was just like, 6:04, open them doors, man. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
You think he and Mackenzie were at the Tri-State Mall?
Oh yes. They're toasting all the way down to Newark and back. They're doing the whole thing.
And then speaking of birthdays, happy birthday! By the time this comes out, it'll be one Mr. Brendan Aronson's birthday on Thursday. He's no longer a teenager.
But he is also not 21.
Wow.
No, he's not 21,
He's
so don't
also
get a
not
total
21.
wine.
Look,
no total wine for you.
You'll be in You'll be in Austria soon enough, my lad, and the ages are a little bit different. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah, just hold out a few more months, buddy. But so we had Monday Night Football. I think it's the 10th, 11th time we played New England this year. Devin, is that correct? You're a factual.
The counter's at 11 here.
Counters at 11, yeah. So 11 times we played Bruce in New England.
We just call
2-1 win. Before we get into it, I have to do a special thank you to Sean Brace, Fox the Gambler Radio, Tommy and JP for last night, because as we talked about before the recording, I was on my way down to the Larimer to watch the game with Adam and my father and Matt Lindemuth, and there was some traffic on 95. I was in my car for 3 hours. So thank you, Tommy and JP, for bringing the game to life for me. I did feel the nail biter in the very end, but we got the result we wanted. So who wants to go first on their comments about the game? Adam.
One, this is a great advertisement for Waze. And this is how you get around sitting in front of the airport for 3 hours. Two, look, it's the idea of when you play a team 5 times, beating them 5 times is difficult, no matter who you play, because eventually they figure out some of your tendencies. You play them long enough. Bruce Arena, he's had his moments, but he is overall a good coach and tactician. So it's something where playing a team that many times, you're going to get some results that are like, yeah, obviously, and then you're going to get some results where you're like, wow, that was a little closer than I was hoping. And look, authentically, they're at home. New England has been good recently. Their only loss was to Toronto. So it's not like this is a New England team of yore. This is a New England team that I believe will make the playoffs, and I believe, might be a tough out for somebody. They have a decent enough roster. I do appreciate that the combination of Lee Nguyen, Diego Fagundes, and Tio Bunbury has to be 9,000 years old. But, I'm happy they're still representing the Rev Crest with pride. Look, Andre Blake is a superhero. Like, that's it. I mean, that's the best. Anthony Fontana continues to score. Sergio Santos scared them into an own goal. If you saw that, his sheer intimidation power scared them into an own goal.
Well, he looks like Demolition Man, so yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, exactly. And then Andre Blake. Speaking of, never mind. But anyways, but like legitimately, you have the best goalie in MLS, and this is what happens when you put a decent enough offense in front of that level of talent.
All right, Rob, it's now time to impress your 14-year-old son with your soccer knowledge.
Blake played out of his mind. I thought he was incredible. I mean, the goal, the stop he had, the save he had on that free kick was just, I didn't even know how he did it. It was like Superman. So I think, we to be an elite team, you have to win that game clearly. I think we're an elite team. And my one commentary would be is that I think the last 10 minutes were probably a little more stressful than we would like. And again, I think probably elite teams probably, for us to, get to that top level where I think we are in the league, you just can't have that 10-minute, I think, pause and play. But we won. And then, maybe in years past, that would have been a draw. 2-3 years ago, that 2-1 win that we had would have been a 2-2 tie. And, with the fans, it would have been distraught. I would have been distraught. And so I think, I've tried to be a positive person and focus on, where we are today versus where we might have been, 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, that would have been a draw. So obviously a huge game this weekend. And, that's what I'm thinking about.
Devin, thoughts on Monday Night Football?
Here's my only thought. As you guys know, Sunday morning, my old Premier League team decided they wanted to throw away a 3-0 lead. And if the Union would have thrown away this 2-0 lead, I don't know if my mental health would have emerged out of this Monday night game. No, it was I was having flashbacks to that Tottenham game, to the last 10 minutes of that game, especially with the free kick.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
and then so it was a lot of similarities, and I am glad that they came away with the win, but it was not pretty.
To touch on Rob's point, I agree with you wholeheartedly. 2 years ago, 3 years ago was a tie. 6-7 years ago, we would have blown that lead.
Yeah, that's a loss. That's a 3-2 loss.
Yeah, that would have been so. I mean, I go through a whole spectrum
Hard to
of
disagree
emotions.
with that.
Yeah, I go through a whole spectrum of emotions when I'm watching this team, and as being a true Philadelphia fan, it's like, oh, don't say we're good, don't say, oh, we're good, okay. But my only question is, and Devin, Adam, and Rob, if you can, do you think Bruce Arena is going to try to make an offer to buy Anthony Fontana just so he stops playing against the New England Revolution? I mean, he scored on that. What is that? His fourth goal?
I think
in
it
four
is
games he's
fourth,
played
yeah.
against them. So
The kid eats. The kid loves chowder. He loves the chowder.
he loves chowder.
I listened to his interview afterwards, and he said as much. He liked, as he said, he likes playing against them, and certainly the statistics show.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now we hinted to it. This Saturday night, we've got the Canadian Connecticut team coming down to play on a real field and not that Division II Hartford, Connecticut field. So how are we feeling about what is for number 1 seed in the East? How's everyone feeling?
For the North American Championships here, the best team in America versus the best team in Canada. Yeah, I'm here for this. I'm absolutely here for this. Now, look, man, I saw the Toronto game the other night, and I don't like to read into that stuff too much, but like when the Union played Toronto, I believe there were 2 breakdowns that led to the goals that led to the loss. Overall, I didn't believe we were the inferior team while playing that game. I believe we had moments where, with them having very talented individuals themselves, they capitalized. And I think that's what happened more than anything. Same thing, almost similar to what I felt last night with. Look, Buchanan's going to be a very good soccer player. The striker for the Revs.
He could. He looks like he'd be a good basketball
He might be a good
player,
basketball
too.
player
Yeah.
too, but he's going to be
He's an unbelievable athlete.
yeah, he's going to be a very good soccer player. And the fact that he is the only person who has scored for the Revs against us pretty much this year, that speaks his own volumes about him eating against the Union. But it's just legitimately for me, the Union the last couple of weeks have never seemed to me to be the inferior team. It's just usually little sequences of shutting off the synapses. That being said, I do believe with the gravity of this moment, the fact that Toronto doesn't seem invincible. Yeah, they're ahead of you, but they definitely seem a catchable team. And like, look, we talked about the supporter shield. We talked about all that stuff. I'm just here for the Champions League spot and the cash. That's really what I'm here for more than anything. But also, if you want to give me a shiny dinner plate, I'll take that too. But legitimately, you have an opportunity to, in the same year that you get Kevin Durant in your ownership and you expand the profile, the same year that you're going to sell one player for sure, possibly two, and they're going to look at Fontana soon, I'm assuming. So you're going to have some more kind of conversations there. You also get the number one seed in MLS and get to the Champions League where you're going down to Guadalajara and all these other places to showcase this team against North America.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the biggest match in Union history that wasn't a final. I don't think that's a hard sell. You have an opportunity here to do something that this club has never been able to do, which is firmly plant your flag in MLS and say, this is us.
It is very hard to disagree with anything you said, including Buchanan being a good basketball player.
Right.
But no, I agree. This is I love our chances this weekend. It's at home. Weather looks like it's going to cooperate, and so yeah, if we can win, when we win, this is going to say a lot. It says a lot about the organization after.
Devin,
after
you want me or you to go on this one?
I'll just throw in one little tidbit here. If the Union come away with a win, well, since they already won against New England, the season's in their hands. They control the rest of this season. If you lose or you draw to Toronto, you now have to depend on Toronto dropping points. You could win the rest of the season and still get second. So this is a massive game for the Union, and I am just ecstatic that I get to be there for it. And I also think, yes, they're going to win. I'm not going any negative Nelly this time. It's all wins.
All
weekend.
dubs. All dubs.
We need good vibes.
So here's what I want to preface one point. Toronto has been the class of the East and maybe the league for 4 or 5 years. I know Atlanta took a lot of shine away because they were the big shiny toy. They were spending all the money. Mr. Home Depot was dumping money in, Uncle Art, all that crap. But Toronto has been the class of the league, especially the East. In sports, it is rare that you get to witness, especially in your hometown, a changing of the guards. This is Michael Jordan, Detroit Pistons-esque, where your Philadelphia Union is taking over. They are going to send the old men to retirement and take over the East right now. So that's what I'm saying is right now you're witnessing a young Michael Jordan, maybe in a Mark McKenzie right now, leading his team to go past the veterans and take over. So yeah, W's all around. Real big game. Real excited. A little mad at my brother-in-law because it's his 50th birthday, so I can't be in the stands. Man, if my sister doesn't love me now, nothing's gonna. We're gonna end this. We're gonna end this family right now. But yeah, so I can't be in the stands. So I'm hoping I hear you from the Camden waterfront where we're celebrating his birthday. But yeah, Devin, just a little bit other news. I think we've touched on Premier League. We don't need to go in on that, right? Because we both had disappointing weekends with Adam and our beloved Chelsea.
His weekend was more disappointing than ours.
Same results, though.
Okay.
Fair. However, still don't. Anyway.
Now, we do have a little Champions League news. on the Tuesday tomorrow. Yeah, Tuesday.
That's today.
Oh,
You can
today.
get through this, Matt.
Come
Sorry,
on,
man.
I'm here
no,
for you.
is it? No, it's tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Is that the
Should
Europa?
we have a viewing party for Salzburg versus Moscow?
Oh my god. Is that our new Austrian team as a group? Are we now just
I
all
feel like, yes.
Red Bull Salzburg fans?
No. As the Philadelphia Inquirer stated in that
Yes.
article, it's
Yes.
RV, like
RV.
recreational vehicle
Yeah,
Salzburg.
RV.
We can cheer for RV Salzburg.
Look,
so yeah, I mean,
Icarus. If y'all don't get to be making some RV Salzburg jerseys for me tomorrow, I know you're listening, Icarus FC, the best football jersey producers in the land. I need you to hook us up. I need that in my life.
I'll even help him with a crest. It's a cartoon of Brendan Aronson driving a little European RV.
Oh my god, no! I just oh my god, like one of those like little streamlines, but just on the British countryside. Yes. All right, I'm having way too much fun with this. We need cartoonists. I have thoughts.
So Champions League. I've just been all about Salzburg because Chelsea dropped a 0-0 tie today. So that's about it. Any other Champions League news, Devin, Adam?
PSG lost to Man U, and I hurt on the inside.
Well,
Reina
Chelsea.
looked decent, and Serginho Dest looked great.
They did look great.
There you go.
We got
Adam, all I can say is Saturday Chelsea will avenge your PSG by beating Man U.
I'm very excited about that. I'm as a PSG fan, people think it's weird, and I'm just like I've been a fan when they were terrible too. So now that they're good, it's just like I feel everyone thinks I'm hopping on. Like Devin's like, how are you a PSG fan? I'm like I got 6 jerseys in my closet right now. Paris Saint-Germain, leave me alone.
Devin, did we miss anything?
We're good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode Charlie Manuel. Again, Rob, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let us know when we are all back in the stadium, when you were ready to jump on the capo stand with Adam to bang the drum and light some smoke.
That would be awesome. That'd be very cool.
We don't.
I'll do it. I mean, God, what a great way to celebrate the end of COVID. That's for sure.
And the COVID and MLS Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MLS,
Exactly. We don't get enough of the owners on the stand, so we're.
Well, you guys have my email. Obviously, please email, call me on the cell. I'd love to see you all in person. And
be careful what you wish for.
He didn't give it to me. You're fine. You're good.
Adam might be calling you from the Tri-County Mall.
Look, man, I stumbled upon myself over the border and I'm stuck. The state troopers got me. I need some help. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see you at 5:00 on Friday at Total Wine.
Oh, he knows my time. This man, he's a smart man. He knows my time.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, and we're looking forward to
Thanks
taking
so
down
much,
Toronto.
guys.
And Rob, thank you so much, and everybody, wash your hands.
Sexy season.